So what was the call to action for you? Because I think we've both got very similar backgrounds, 20 years in software sales.
Yeah.
And you decided to take the leap into doing something different. So can you share a little bit about that journey for you, where you've probably realised that there's something more for you.
Yeah.
And you've had to go on, you mentioned the word, a bit of an internal journey, an internal investigation, you've had to review everything that's going on in your life for you to make a change. So where were you? What was going on inside you? What was going on around you for you to be able to make this transition to where you are today?
Yeah, so 20 years in, on the outside, I had that perceived success. I have a nice house. I had a nice car that was paid for, that I've recently got rid of because I just don't need it. Holidays, I had a good fitness regime, and my family holidays. Life seemed good, but on the inside, I felt crushed. For a long time, I felt that there was more, and that feeling for more became more and more powerful. And I also had a lot of trauma from my past, and that manifested themselves in limiting beliefs, low mood, lack of confidence. My self-esteem was at rock bottom. I had anxiety, and these would often manifest into self-fulfilling prophecies that in sales you need to be super confident. It's really high pressured, and you're as good as your last quarter. And when you have these doubts and you're not comfortable with the man you see in the mirror, you start to ask questions, and you think this can't be it. I don't want to be this person. And so I paused, I stopped, and I did ask for more. And it started with me from taking a break from alcohol. I was a mid-lane drinker. I was searching for cans of beer in the morning for that little sip of the amber nectar. It was just weekend drinking to suppress my emotions, to forget about the stressful week and forget about my problems. And that the knock-on effect to that on a Monday, with the fog and the lack of clarity, just dragging through, was super. It was holding me back from being the best version of myself. And also for my employers, they pay me to do a job. So whilst they don't create maybe the best environments for you to thrive, they're still paying me. I still walked into it with my eyes wide open. I signed the golden handcuffs. And you get tied to these, and you think, is there a way out? But there is. So it's answering those questions, like, what is it that you get enjoyment out of? When you look at what you've accumulated, how tied to it are you? Do you believe in that? What were you working for? When I reached that, not so much a pinnacle, but I didn't really have to worry about money, and I had savings, and it was, I didn't feel fulfilled. I was still feeling empty. But Simon, you're supposed, when you get the house, the car, the family, these things, you're supposed to feel fantastic. That's what you're taught, and that's what you work for. That's what you grind out and grit it out for through your 20s and early 30s. But when you don't feel, and it doesn't give you that feeling of what it's supposed to, and in fact it's starting to impact you mentally and physically. It's causing you to be moody around your family, sort of not engaging, and there's other stuff that it's getting in the way of. Then that's when that for me was that sort of calling point where I had to stop and say, right, what is it that I want, and being honest with myself as well. So not ignoring all the signs, not ignoring where my effort, performance into my personal and professional life. What is it that I need to do? I need some clarity. I need some alignment. I need to really find out my purpose. I need a coach. So I took a break from alcohol, employed the services of a coach. I was able. There's lots of self-help out there as well. I mean, that's how I found my coach, and there was there's books and there's podcasts, there's loads of resources, and I can refer people to that. There's things you can do for free. And doing that deep inner work around some of the beliefs that were limiting beliefs that were holding me back and stopping me from stepping into the person that I wanted to be. It was smaller incremental changes over a long period of time. It was getting my self-belief back and the confidence in the man I wanted to be, building up my self-esteem, dealing with the trauma, and over time your confidence builds. And doing that work along with the values and the goals piece, I was able to build enough confidence to start my journey as a positive psychology coach. I did that as a side hustle. And until I was in a place where I was able to leave my corporate job and follow my passion. And for me, it's living a life aligned with my values and live authentically. And what that means, it may sound a bit woo-woo, but living aligned, my values are, the main one's autonomy. And underneath that sits that ability, the flexibility to work autonomously, to live autonomously, to travel, travel's really important. That flexibility to work, I do to earn money how I want to on my terms, and getting out in nature, self-care, being out in the environment, those things, conversations are so much more heightened when you are outside, even taking a small break. So a couple of things there that are really important to me to learn. Curiosity is my second top strength. So it's my second strength. So being curious, building my knowledge, and being able to share and to give that back. If I can do those things, then I'm answering my call to adventure. I'm living a life aligned with my values and purpose, and to be able to give back. So long answer, but that
was a great answer.
Does that help?
Yeah, that was a great answer. That was a really great answer. There's so many ways I can go from there, but I'm going to talk about something which I think it is part of your work, your coaching, which is, so we're going to talk about what was holding you back, right? And let's talk about limiting self-belief.
Yep.
But also let's talk about the impact of alcohol, because I've been on this journey as well, and I think it's something that we've got in common.
Yep.
So just share a little bit about, that thing that was holding you back, and then the self-belief, alcohol. Can you bring that into a story?
Yeah. So limiting beliefs. I didn't even know what they were. It was just stories and a narrative I told myself. The inner critic, the inner chimp, whatever you want to call it, that second voice inside of you that tells us that we can't do something. You're not good enough, smart enough, fit enough, good looking enough, rich enough. All the things that we play on our minds, and it's natural. 80% of the thoughts we have are negative. It's a survival instinct, and our brains doesn't want to put us into certain situations where we may fail. So there are like limit factors in there that hold us back. For me, it was years, and other people will relate to this. There's years of trauma. That means different things to different people. That built over time. That meant I felt that I was telling myself a story that I wasn't good enough, smart enough, rich enough, happy enough, good looking enough to be able to do these things. I'm going to fail. So that was really holding me back, and I was at war with myself, because there was things that I was doing, and I was building this life, and I was moving up the corporate ladder, and I did a post about getting a car. I got this doesn't mean anything in the great scheme of things, but I'd always wanted a BMW, and I was in my mid-30s, and I bought this car, but I wasn't happy, and I just sort of started really, really questioning it. So I was at sort of war with myself. It's like one side of me saying, "Oh, you can't do this. You're never going to achieve. You fail. You don't deserve that." And the other part of me is, "Oh, hang on a sec. You've done this. You've worked hard. You don't owe anybody anything." And so, but the beliefs was sort of pulling me down. And I mean, a great question that I ask clients now is, "What's a more helpful thought?" Can you ask yourself that on a regular basis? Challenge the evidence about these beliefs. But for me, I I used alcohol to deal, just quieten that voice down. It's a busy place, my mind, and a lot of people will relate. So alcohol is the norm. It's in our DNA, Simon. You don't question it. Let's go for a few beers. Yeah, great. Do I even want a beer? What am I doing? Yeah, I'm going to have a couple of beers. I never saw the sense in just having one or two, because it just makes you feel a bit dry and a bit drowsy. If you have a pint in the afternoon with lunch, then you feel that. So I would push down and suppress these feelings with alcohol at the weekends, and it felt good because I absolved myself of my responsibilities. Having a few pints, a couple of glasses of wine with dinner, as you know, maybe a couple more. When I was younger, you'd go out and you'd have vodka and Red Bull, whatever it was, and it's how I dealt with my problems. But ultimately, on the flip side of that, you've got the knock-on effects of alcohol, and you just accept them. It's just a liquid in a glass. It's just you're poisoning yourself effectively, and you're waking up low mood, anxiety, you're moody, you're not your best self, your appetite's crap, your skin's bad, and a whole pool of other things as well. So for me, it was a coping mechanism that I knew wasn't helping, but it's a largely untapped area of performance that is widely accepted in society and needs to be challenged.